What's going on, guys? Oddman MC back at you with another episode here in Minecraft, and today we're gonna make some custom trees. But first, we gotta go to the Nether. So I went ahead and made two identical spots that these corners of polished andesite are separated by 5 blocks. So if you want to go ahead and make those, if you're gonna build along with me, go ahead and do that. But let's get into the materials next. So in this video, I'm going to be making 2 different types of trees. I'm going to be making one with the crimson hyphae, is that how you say it? And then the warped hyphae. I always just call them stems, so warped and crimson stems, however you want to say it. If you know how to pronounce it, let me know in the comments. But for the crimson tree, I'm going to be using the stem, the wart block, red glazed terracotta. I'm going to try to use the mushroom block, the crimson slab, and the crimson fence. For the warped one, I'm just going to be using the warp stem, glazed terracotta, the cyan one, the warped wart block, and then the warped slab and warped fence, along with a little bit of oxidized copper. I want to see if I can get that worked in. And then all of my decorative blocks are going to be the warped fungus, twisting vines, weeping vines, the crimson nylium, the warped nylium, warped roots, crimson fungus, and nether sprouts. So I'm going to build this up kind of like one of my medium trees that I did in one of my previous tree videos. I'll link that up in the cards in the top right corner right now if you want to go check that out. But what we're going to do is we're going to start right here in the center, and I'm going to kind of build it up in a kind of organic fashion. I like to kind of think of this as an organic type of way that these trees would move, and I'm going by what's like the rule of 3, where I have 3 blocks I build up and there's like 3 blocks, and sometimes I'll take blocks out to see if they fit or if they work in the build. Sometimes they do, sometimes they won't. It all depends on what you think is looking really good. And I'm liking the look of this. I want to keep building up this pattern, and we'll go up this way, and let's curve it out here. That's looking good. Build up a little bit there. And I think this height we can start kind of branching out in different directions. From this side, I'm going to go at this level and just kind of bring them out a little bit, let them kind of hang out this way, and then I'm going to start letting it droop down, and we can start kind of taking out some of these extra blocks that we didn't really need. There we go, kind of getting that branch in there, and we'll come off of this one as well, build it up a little bit, and like so, and then start just kind of bringing it down like that. I like that. So we'll take out a couple of these temporary blocks just to kind of hold it in place, and then we'll do one more right here off the top. We'll build this one up quite a bit, kind of curve it this way and that way, just kind of making it look different. And actually we'll take this block out, and I think with that, that's looking pretty good. I think we can grab our quote-unquote leaves and add those to this tree now. So the bulk of my leaves are going to be the wart block, so what I'm going to do is just kind of cover the top of these branches at first to kind of get an idea of what direction I want these to go, and then I can kind of start building them off from the sides like this. And I like to make sure that the wood is covered in most spots. There's a couple places where I'll leave it exposed because it might look a little bit better, but what I found with this is just playing around with what you think is going to look well, and if it doesn't, you just change it and you just kind of play around with it. So finding a good block palette and seeing how that goes. I'm liking the look of this already, so I'm gonna keep placing these blocks and start developing this canopy and just kind of place them where I feel like they need to go. And I'll check with you guys in a second, and then we'll start kind of texturing this with the glazed terracotta and the red mushroom block. And there we go, the warp block leaves are in place, and I did take out a few here and there. Again, play around with this, see what you think looks good. But now let's go through and texture a little bit with the red glazed terracotta and the red mushroom block. I don't want to go overboard with this, but I do want it to add just a little bit of texture and a little bit of color. So I'm going to start kind of placing and seeing where they look good, and I kind of want to treat them as if they're patches of leaves that are maybe changing a different color from the season or something like that. I know we don't have seasons in the Nether, but I like to add lore to my build, so this could be something in a way to do that. And honestly, if you're a One Piece fan, they kind of remind me of Devil Fruit. I don't know, that looks pretty cool. All right, the glazed terracotta is in, and I think that looks really good. I'm gonna see if I can get this mushroom block to look just as good. It's gonna add a little bit more pop of a brighter red to this, but overall, I think it's gonna look really nice. And actually I don't like the look of that either. So I want to leave these kind of like long strands hanging down kind of as their own thing. I think that would be really good, and just kind of use this as an accent between the warped blocks and just the glazed terracotta. So I think just kind of adding little bits like this throughout is gonna look really, really good. And overall, just little tiny bits like that add so much. So I am actually really happy with how that turned out. And then the last thing we'll do for this is we'll decorate the bottom and start adding in our slabs and our stairs to kind of add a little bit more context of curvature with wood and all that kind of stuff that I like to add with my trees, just like this, and putting them in different areas. Try to make this look as organic as possible. And you know, I love hanging fences down so you can hang what are they called? Lanterns. Lanterns from here. So we'll probably throw some soul lanterns on here just to kind of bring it out, and you can hang them down from the leaves as well, of varying heights, just to make it add so much more detail to this build. But we'll go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna go through a quick time lapse just to decorate the bottom, because I think you guys could be able to tell that how I'm doing that without me just explaining it. There we go. I did add the which ones are these? The weeping vines in with the soul lanterns, and it adds just so much more. So I'm hoping you guys can understand what I was doing there. I just kind of built out some of the stems down here, doing some kind of roots branching out, threw in some of the crimson nylium, and then just decorated it with the roots and the grass and the different mushrooms. And I think overall this turned out really, really good. So I'm really happy with this. So let's move on to the warp tree next. So I'm going to build this one in a very similar fashion, where we kind of just start in the middle and just start kind of building up a little bit of varying heights. But I do want to change it up just a tiny bit by adding a little bit more of the varying block heights around it, like so, because I think this will just add a little bit more, like as a good base. And then we can start kind of building up in our rule of 3 and do some varying heights up this way. And this one branched off this way first, so I think we'll branch it this way and that way. We'll do kind of like 2 really big stems and maybe do a couple extra stems off that. Not stems, branches is what I mean. So we'll bring this up like so. I think that's looking good, and then we'll bring it this way. So I like this level here, so we'll build it up and then kind of branch it out this way, going in this direction. I think that's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's a good height. So then we can start kind of maybe taking some of these and going in that direction, and even taking one going this direction would be really good. So yeah, we got a couple different ways that we can build this out and just do some varying heights. Take that one out. So now we can add in the warped wart block. That's a tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. But we're going to add this to the top of these, just like we did the crimson one, and kind of vary the height and the kind of the organicness of it as we go through. So I'll check with you guys in a second on how I did that. And the warp tree is done. I did keep a very similar style to this, and I did want to stay true to the warp trees. You can see the warped forest over there, the varying heights of the different warp blocks coming down. So next we can go through and add in our texture blocks, like our glazed terracotta. And honestly, I think we could do these hanging down below instead. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different, and we're gonna add the waxed copper up top, because I think this has a little bit better texture than the glazed, and we're gonna do something a little bit different with these glazed terracotta underneath. So I'm gonna try something out, and I'll show you guys in a second. So this was my idea with the glazed terracotta. We kind of have it hanging down like it looks like some kind of weird fruit, and I think it fits the Minecraft logo very well because it's got the creeper face on it. But I also realized something with both these trees, is that I didn't add the shroom light, which is in both trees. So I don't know how I did that. So I'm gonna take out a few blocks in each tree, and that way we can at least have some light source with it, staying true to the trees that we're emulating, but still making them look pretty cool. And there we go. The shroom lights have found their home, and I think they add just that much more detail. So now we can texture this up by just adding in our warp slabs and our fences and just making it look all pretty and just distinguished. Like it's just fantastic. And we'll add in our roots too, just to kind of add a little bit more detail to this build. I don't have any rhyme or reason when I build out the roots for trees. I just kind of place where I feel like it's gonna go, and you know, the game kind of tells me where I want to go. Isn't that how it is for everything with Minecraft? It tells you what to do. You don't tell the game what to do. And there we go, the warp tree is finished. I feel like I could do more with the oxidized copper blocks, but I do like the look of them. We'll go ahead and add a couple more just to kind of fill that in and make it seem like they're not just sticking out like a sore thumb, because I kind of felt like they were after placing them down a little bit. But we'll go ahead and do this really quick. But overall, I think these both turned out really good. So if you have a favorite between the two, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out my other custom tree video, again, I'll link that in the description down below, or click the card earlier in the video. Alright guys, that is all the time I have for you today. If you guys like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and always hit that bell so you know when videos are coming out. And don't forget to follow me on all forms of social media. My links are in the description down below. But I will see you guys in the next one. Always remember, the most important thing is to be odd. Wash your hands. Peace, guys.